Hi, my name's Sophia Compton, and I'm going to be discussing today how to combat financial stress during COVID-19. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, how stressed were you about your finances last year? And then, how stressed would you say you are personally about your finances now during COVID-19? 1 being not stressed, and 5 being very stressed. Maybe just take a moment to think about that. Do you see any difference between last year and this year? Are you more stressed out now compared to back then? So, financial stress is defined as worry, fear, and anxiety about finances. That can even cause physical symptoms. So, financial stress really can affect anyone, primarily adults, though. Um, Unlike acute stress, which is momentary stress, so something that really bothers you in the moment and releases stress hormones, chronic stress is when the body is continuously exposed to stress hormones. So something like financial stress will cause that. Symptoms can include insomnia, headaches, fatigue, depression, difficulty sleeping, apathy, and feeling really overwhelmed. What can cause financial stress? So there can be many causes of financial stress. These usually are high debt levels, low savings, volatile stock markets, a complex financial marketplace. We now live in a very complex financial marketplace compared to what we used to live in, which used to be way more simple and straightforward. And then limited education on money is huge, and that's something that we're really going to focus on today. And real estate can also be a cause of stress for many people because sometimes if you invest in something, it goes underwater. That can be a concern. So, COVID and finances. So, depression has increased threefold among US adults since COVID-19 first hit, according to a Boston University study. And the people who were at the greatest risk were those with lower incomes. So these were people with savings less than $5,000 or greater exposure to financial stressors such as job loss. Nearly 75% of Americans with annual household incomes of less than $50,000 said they were at least somewhat concerned about their financial situation right now, compared to 63% with annual household incomes of $100,000 or more, according to a survey in September from the National Endowment for Financial Education. So COVID has definitely affected the way people are thinking about their finances. There are so many things coming up all the time. Some people have lost their jobs. The unemployment rate really spiked back in April. In April, the unemployment rate was nearly 15%. And average levels are usually less than 4%. Fortunately, right now, the unemployment rate has balanced out, so it's only about 6.9%, but it's still way higher than we'd like to see it. So, how have Americans had to adjust? 74% of Americans have had to adjust their finances due to COVID-19. So, this can mean cutting monthly expenses. 39% have cut monthly expenses. 26% have increased contributions to their savings. 24% have put off major financial decisions. And 18% are drawing out emergency savings. And sometimes these emergency savings can be their own retirement funds and the things you really, really need to use and save up for later on in life. And that can be equally stressful to remove money from those funds that you actually need later on. So my objective with this is to reduce financial stress by improving financial literacy. From my research in these last few days, I've learned that it can be really, really hard to control some of these really extrinsic factors, like losing your job. That's really hard to control. As is something like the COVID-19 pandemic. That's really not something that we can control ourselves. But something that we can control is our financial literacy. So if we educate ourselves on how to plan for situations like these and understand how we can balance a paycheck a little bit better and really learn to manage our own budgets, we can really take matters into our own hands and hopefully improve our finances, which will in turn reduce our financial stress. So my objective is to help people to reduce the stress surrounding their finances that they are dealing with during these difficult times. The goal is to reduce physical symptoms of stress by improving people's understandings of their own finances, learn how to rely on and find resources to help them during emergencies, and how to be in a better and more manageable financial position. My SMART goal was I would like to improve each person's financial literacy in order to lower people's reported stress levels by 1 degree on a scale of 1 to 5 within 1 month by the end of 2020. So 1 would be no stress, 5 is high stress. And I will take participants' survey results and information before and after. So I'll ask people, how stressed are you feeling about your finances right now? At the beginning of the study, and then a month later after they do a course or explore the options that I will soon talk about, I'll then ask them again, and hopefully my goal is that they'll say that it's lower than it was before. So if it was a 5, hopefully it'll be a 4. So 4 ways to cope with financial stress. The first tip that we have, according to financial planner Lee Baker, who I read up a lot on these last few days, he says you can actually negotiate bills. So he said to go call your bank and other creditors to see if there are any programs that can help during the pandemic. Some credit card companies are offering flexible payments or waiving late fees. Borrowers may be able to take advantage of mortgage forbearance programs that could lessen or suspend monthly mortgage payments. So all of these are really, really great. It only takes a few minutes, and calling your bank is really not something that's difficult, and potentially you could find something that really helps you out. So the pros are it's easy, there's no harm in calling, it takes minutes to find out. Cons are that it might just not work out in your favor. It really depends on the bank and on your credit card company. And if your stress isn't necessarily coming from your mortgage or from something else, it might not benefit you, but it's worth a shot. Tip number 2 is you can find a pro bono financial planner. If you're really just so confused about your finances, you feel like you're in such a rut and you don't know where to begin, maybe you have just tons of debt and you just don't really know where to start, you can find somebody who will help you for free. So the Financial Planning Association offers free counseling for those who need emergency help during COVID-19. These financial planners can help organize finances, make a plan for debt, or help assess whether to pull money from retirement or savings. This can be extremely helpful, and it's free, which is great. The only con is it might take time, it might be hard to find somebody, and there could be limited availability, just depending. Tip number 3, take advantage of free resources online. This one is huge. So many organizations actually offer free sessions to help improve financial literacy over the internet. So these sessions can help people understand their finances better and feel less overwhelmed without impacting your checkbook. So NEFE, I believe that's how you pronounce it, offers a free online program called Smart About Money, and they are really, really helpful. I actually looked at the program myself. And AARP actually offers online sessions for seniors too. So pros, this one is super easy, very easily accessible, it's helpful, it's quick, it's free. You can fit it into your schedule if you have like 10 minutes at any point during the day. Cons, it's not one-on-one, and it might be a little hard because you have to self-motivate to watch these, but it's definitely worth it. Tip number 4, plan. So after the pandemic is over, make sure to build or rebuild some kind of emergency fund of some kind for the future so that you are financially secure in times of crisis like these. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but having something you can fall back on, I'm sure a lot of people are really noticing is very helpful. So it doesn't help the present moment, but it helps for the future, and that is going to be you at some point. So if you can try to deal with what you're going through now and go and help save up, that'll be really, really helpful for you. So in conclusion, I found that all 4 tips are really beneficial and can really help someone who's in a financial rut and just wants to learn about their finances. This is really, really helpful to those experiencing financial stress because it allows them to educate themselves in their own finances, make smarter and more mindful decisions, and potentially be able to alleviate their own worries. I believe every person should seek out the online resources for financial literacy just because of how easy it is to access and because the sessions are completely free. And reaching out to relief funds can help put a band-aid on a financially stressful situation until things are worked out. So if you are really needing money, even UH actually offers, they have a student relief fund. So even if you're struggling, you can actually reach out to them. And seeking out a pro bono financial planner and calling your credit card company will also definitely help just to see. You might as well feel out your options, see if there's any way you can be assisted. And here are some extra tips straight from experts on how to combat some financial stress. I watched this and it is kind of interesting. It's a little long, but I think it's worthwhile. And thank you for listening. I've also attached the hotlines below just in case. Stress can be really, really hard to deal with and it can lead to a lot of mental health issues. And just in case anyone needs that, those are right there. And here is my works cited page. Thank you for listening.